So you were the star boy at Repton pretty much in like probably the best times, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there probably. Yeah, it was booming when I was there. We was like winning national title after national title. It was like we'd get national champions and come out with 14, 15 national titles every single time. Obviously, we put a few in it. We put like 20 odd in it, but every time we'd come out about 14, 15.
But to put that in comparison against any amateur gym in England, you're lucky to have one national champion in your gym.
It was just them few years that, well, obviously I was there from 11-year-old as a kid all the way up until I was 17. So yeah, them 6 years I was there, everything, they just cleaned up. They just cleaned up everything.
Why were they so good? Well, why was Repton such a good club?
I think the sparring. I think we had like so much sparring. We'd get in there at like 6 o'clock in the evening. I wouldn't get out of I'd be sparring from 6 o'clock in the evening till 9 o'clock at night.
What, just like every time you go train?
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm guessing the sparring partners, there was probably so many opportunities for people your weight. I'm guessing you probably sparred all weights, right? Growing up?
Every single weight. Like, we'd get up in the gym, he'd line us all up in the ring. We'd all stand there and he'd just keep picking out one. And he'd walk off. So like you'd be sparring for like, you think as an amateur, it's out 1.5 minutes around. Yeah. And he'd be like, jump out, jump in, and then he'd just walk off. You know, you'd be in the ring for 5 minutes sparring. He'd come out, stop.
That is crazy.
But yeah.
And I'm guessing in terms of the coaches back then, did you have, even though it's quite a big club, did you still have good one-to-one time? Did you still manage to like have that like progression where you felt like you were still being seen?
Well, I was very close to Bobby Beck. Like Bobby Beck was like, I looked up to him like a granddad in a way, and I was probably one of his favourites. But yeah, so I looked up and everything like he told me, like he was scared of him in a way. Like even though I was very close to him, I was scared of him in a way. So yeah, he always give me a lot of one-to-one time, and I improved so much because when I first went there, I was only a 9, but I was 9 or 10, and I was just a little fat, come forward fighter. And at first, he went to my dad, I don't know if I really want to take him on. I wasn't great. And then my dad managed to say, Dad, get him to take me on. It was probably one of the best decisions he ever made. Like, I went on to win so many national titles with him. I only lost, at Repton, I only one fight for actual Repton. So I lost one in the ABAs. And yeah, so the other fights I lost was for England, and I won when I was at one for Alderston. So
that's seriously impressive. Yeah. When did you start getting your rhythm? When you started sort of getting to that elite level? At what age?
Yeah, so like 16, I was probably in my prime as at my amateur stage at Repton. I was cleaned up that year. I won junior ABAs. I went to Three Nations, won the Three Nations, won the Europeans, boxed for England on other international tournaments, won box cups. Like all in 1 year, just completely smashed it. I think I had that. I went 10-0 unbeaten as a kid, and then I got beat, and then I won 22 fights on the spin.
Wow.
Without losing.
My name is Dennis McCann, professional boxer for Frank Moore and MTK Global. This is Fortress Boxing. A lot more protection. It's a no-brainer. Around your thumbs, around your knuckles, around your wrist. That's exactly where I have the problems at. They're very compact, so I feel like I'm punching hard with them on as well. And I feel like when you got sparring 14, 16-ounce gloves, the smaller wraps can't really. They're too small for the gloves. That makes sense. So these are a bit bigger, and they're getting the gloves a bit more. They're making them more compact. 1, 2, hook. Go.
So how did you take the loss when you have lost?
Because my first ever fight was a schoolboy final, and I thought Bobby Beck always. If you want to fight Bobby Beck, it's slam the canvas, smash, and. As a kid, when you've won it, and he'd tell you if you won it or not. If you lost, he'd say you've lost that.
Yeah,
you're gonna be pissed off.
Yeah,
but he slammed the counter, won it. I got beat, but the kid was from Liverpool where I boxed him, so I was very unlucky to get it straight away after. I want the rematch. I want to box him again, and they wouldn't take the fight. So then I moved on from then, and then after that, I went and won the schoolboys, junior ABAs, just kept winning. Like, after that, obviously that loss determined me to not get beat again.
Yeah.
So I went on and won everything after that. And then obviously I went to the schoolboy Europeans, I got beat there. But obviously it's a completely high level. You're a kid and boxing against Russians. You know, I got beat by a Russian world number 1. So went from there, and then I went unbeaten again for ages, won everything.
What was your toughest fight? Was it the Russian?
Probably my toughest fight as a kid, that Russian by far, just because their IQ as kids are so so high level. Like you'd watching them warm up with like tennis balls, bouncing them on the floor, and the things they'd done was just like, there's like robots, there's chains of, we're just like kids from England come over, we're having a great time. We wanted to get out on the boats and things like that. We're just messing about, throwing fish at each other in the sea. It was like completely, like, even the Welsh team and all that, we all got on. So and then you just watch them and they're like, everything's so serious. Like they get up for breakfast all in a rhythm, they all go out together, they're training together. Like,
was that intimidating?
Not, I wouldn't say intimidating, you didn't bother you as a kid, did it? But yeah, what they done, like you'd watch them with their tennis balls when they're warming up, and as they come out, they all had that exact same style. They all learnt that exact same thing. And I think like even like they go to school, they get taken out of school in their school time to just train boxing, whereas we go to school, we have to finish school and then go boxing. We're half asleep when we go to the gym. But yes, it's so serious. Like, well, even the Ukrainians, they're the same. Like they all have that regime.
How did it go from beating all of the amateurs in England and then trying to fight against all these European stars? Was it completely different?
Yeah, I think a lot of England have pretty much the same kind of styles, a lot of them. Whereas you go out there and it's just a completely different level. So it's another level. You've got to proper up your game. Like even from winning the junior ABAs, like I boxed some great kids in the junior ABAs. Joe Tyers, he's on GB now. He's probably going on to get on the Olympics. I boxed him in 3 finals and he's a great fighter. I beat him 3 times.
Oh, and he's going to be in the Paris Olympics?
Yeah, he's looking like, he's on the GB. He's on the GB programme, so he'll probably be at the Olympics soon. A very good kid. And like, even from boxing him, he's a good kid from England to going on to the Europeans as a junior. It's a complete other level. Again, you've got up your game.
Yeah.
And I beat some great kids, like I said, from Romania, Georgia. I beat Denmark, 3-time European champion. And then I went and beat a Russian world number 1 again in the final. So I don't know, I draw, but I got through it. But and then from there, I went to Bobby Beck, left Repton, and went to Body Shots. But I was at that age then, I had to start working. My dad said, you need to go work now, earn yourself some money. So from 17, I was going to work, and I found I couldn't get over to Body Shots, which killed me. I couldn't get over there. It was just all the way over here, and I was at Amersham. It was like an hour and a half, hour and 45-minute drive, and I ain't got a driving licence or nothing, so I have to keep getting my mum to take me. Even though my mum used to drive me after school every about 3-4 times a week. After school, she'd pick me up at 3 o'clock and take me to the gym at Repton, an hour and a half there, hour and a half back, 3-4 times a week. So from a kid,
you're still doing the commute now?
Yeah, I'm still doing that commute now. So from a kid, I've never known no difference. Everyone goes to me, I don't know how you do it. Like, how do you go to the gym every single day, an hour and a half there, an hour and a half back? I said, no different. I've done it since a kid.
Yeah.
I've been in that car since a kid going there and back, so it don't make a difference to me. Like, I can do it.
Do you get yourself in the mood for training in the car? Is there anything that you do?
Not really. I'm just so used to just doing that drive and just getting to the gym that way. Like, I've never had it easy to get to a gym, so I know no different. Everyone's like, I don't know how you do it, but yeah, it's mad. I just...
Now you're getting a bit older, would you think about maybe getting a place nearer the gym?
Well, now my sister actually lives in Addington. They've not long moved there, so which is only 10 minutes from my gym in Bromley. So now my last camp, I spent the whole time there, and I'll probably spend quite a bit of the time there this camp. So I've made it a little bit easier for myself now, especially with having Jordan as my strength coach now over in Dartford. It's a bit too much because I'll be over every day driving an hour and a half back.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move over there from next week for 8 weeks.
So just going back to the amateurs, I think we've sort of overlooked the fact that you only lost 4 times out of how many fights?
60 fights.
60 fights. Like, that is seriously impressive.
Yeah.
What would you say was your biggest accomplishment in the amateurs?
Probably becoming European champion. That's something as a kid you would always want to be doing, like to win a European title. It's serious. Like, I don't think no one realises how hard it is to go and win a European gold medal. Mm-hmm. It is a serious accomplishment. Like, obviously I won every single national title meant a lot to me. Like, to go and win every single national title, I won one of it, like at least one of each. So I was very happy with that. And boxing for your country is another great achievement. I think I represented England over 20 times. So, yeah.
Amazing. And when you turned over pro, was everything sort of set up for you because you had such a good amateur record? Did you sort of know the path you were going to go down?
I went to... I was good friends with Dennis McCann, obviously, because he was in Repton. And I said he was turned pro before me, probably about 6-7 months before I did. And I said, I want to turn pro. And he said, why don't you come down to Al Smith's gym and have a trial? So as soon as I went down to Al Smith's, I'd done some pads with him, and he went to my dad, I want to take him on, he's wicked. So, as soon as I turned out, obviously Al's got a good relationship with Frank Warren, so straight away I managed to get a good deal on TV, and this is all just planned out perfectly, really at the right time, all come together.
Have you had any setbacks so far?
I wouldn't say there's any setbacks yet. So far, I've been lucky enough, touch wood, hopefully there's wood under, to not get any injuries. So I've kind of just sailed through it so far. Even when we had COVID, even though it was a setback for a lot of fighters, I still was lucky enough to get out 3 times on them lockdown shows. Yeah. Even though it weren't the best of atmosphere, just to keep active in lockdown was great.
Yeah. Hearing the punches during those, like, people don't realise just how savage some of those shots are, especially when you were landing.
I think the BT Studios is the one, because it's not very big in there.
Yeah.
You got the ring in the middle, and when you're hitting them, it's going whack, whack.
The echo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what, the COVID shows, what was the main card that you...
I can't remember the main card now. I remember my CJ, Aguaco. He was, I don't know if he was one of the main fights in the BT studio against Jez Smith. Oh, he might have been. He might have been the main fight. I think Joe Joyce might have been one of them. Who else? I'm trying to think who's the main events now. I can't remember.
Yeah, there's been so many.
There's so many shows, yeah.
How did you find as well, sort of moving to media? Obviously in the amateurs, it's fine. You turn up, you fight, you get your hand raised and you go home. Obviously in the pros, you've got the whole build up. You've still got to focus on the job at hand, but you've got fight week at the press conferences. Yeah. You're being asked from all these cameras the same question sort of 20 times. How did you find sort of acclimatising to that?
Yeah, it's a lot different, isn't it? Like you say, as an amateur, you just come from home, drive straight to the venue, weigh in, box, go home. And now it's like a full week of everything. Like you get there on the Tuesday, you got media workouts on a Wednesday, press conference Thursday, weigh-ins on a Friday, and then you book Saturday. It's just like a long week of it. But I kind of enjoy it in a way, like take it in my stride, and I enjoy it. It's all part of the game.
Soak it up.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, what would you say boxing's actually the easier part, having the actual fight?
Yeah, I enjoy my boxing, so yeah, I think it's probably the easier part. The dieting's the hardest bit. But I enjoy the training, I enjoy the boxing, so you see, it's kind of a hobby for me in a way, so to have an hobby as a job, it's perfect.
Yeah, being paid to train and fight, and travel the world.
Exactly that.
Are you eyeing up Saudi Arabia at some point?
Yeah, I'd like to go to Saudi Arabia. I actually done a show in Dubai. That was when I won the WBC International Silver. It was a crypto fight night in Dubai. I was out there before all this started. I boxed,
the OG.
Yeah, I boxed in Dubai. It was only on a small show, but yeah, it was a great experience. Even that was like fight week. I weighed in at like the Rixos hotel. Like they'd done it all on the pool around the water. That was good. And now these shows out in Saudi look absolutely unbelievable, but hopefully we'll get out there at some point.
Yeah, and what do you do to wind down after a fight? Obviously, when you've had weeks and weeks of putting your body through endless training.
Yeah, me and the fiance try to get on an holiday at least once after the fight, even if we can get a week away. To be honest, I'll just get on the sunbed and go to sleep. For about a week, I'll just sleep flat out. Do you do any training with that week off? Every morning I'll get up and do a run or some kind of like, we go to Spain a lot. My partner's got an apartment out there, so we go out there after pretty much most fights, and I've got a good relationship with a trainer out there, Kerry Davis, great pad man. So I'll go in the gym with him and just do some pads. I'll hit the bags. I'll get up in the morning, go running. I'll run up mountains while I'm out there.
That's your idea of a holiday.
I enjoy getting up and just doing something just to clear your head. I think, and it makes you feel better in a way. Like, because obviously I'll eat a lot of food on holidays. To get up and just do a bit of training makes you feel better when you're eating the food.
Yeah, definitely. And you said you've been working with your nutritionist since your second fight, right?
Yeah. I've been with Paul O'Neill since my second fight. He's a great nutritionist. Like, he improves like your training with the food. Makes weight easy, you know what I mean?
Because people that don't have that, the amount of times that like you'd have to just do strict cuts, I'm sure you might have done it in the amateurs. You're missing meals and you got to train, 2-3 times a day.
It's completely different. Like as an amateur, I used to starve myself with water. Like I wouldn't drink no water because I used to think I was going to put on weight, which is completely ridiculous. I know it sounds. I wouldn't drink water. Like I'd be weighing everything that I'm eating. I didn't hardly eat. I'd starve myself. Like you don't realise as a kid that's not the way to do it. And you turn pro, it's completely different. You're drinking 4 or 5 litres of water a day. Yeah, and all like you're fueling your food for your training. Where you don't look at it like that as a kid. You just eat the healthiest thing you can eat.
Yeah.
But then as a kid, like you don't realise how easy you had it in a way. Like I'd come out of the gym and eat Nando's and things like that, and think that was healthy as a kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's completely different. Like your nutrition is very important as a pro because, like, especially when you're doing 12-round fights, 10, 12-round fights, you need that energy the whole way through it. So if your nutrition's been good throughout camp and you feel properly, you make the weight properly.
It's an absolute pleasure to have Gymfluencers on board as a sponsor for season 5 of the Notjustboxing Podcast. They've been supporting us since we were on 10,000 followers. If you have over 1,000 followers and you like to showcase your health and fitness journey, or if you're an up-and-coming boxer who likes making content, you can receive free products in return for just the story. You can also work on paid collabs where you set your own rates. They've worked with the likes of C4, Jimmy's Iced Coffee, and Skinny Food Co., and the list goes on. If you want to hit them up, use the code NJB to get started today.
And have you had any like bad weight cuts in the pros, or has it all been really smooth?
To be fair, Paul, especially been working with Paul, has made it an easy task really. At the end of the day, like I don't have to even lose that much fight week, so it's been good.
It's great that you don't have to think about it as well. You can just he can just put whatever in front of you. You drink this at this time.
Yeah, like he send me a plan of what I need to eat. Just follow it as best as I can. Like if there's something, like sometimes there's a snack I don't want, I won't eat it. But pretty much I just follow it strictly. Like if I want a snack, I'll just go on the thing and go, have a rice cake with some banana and Biscoff. So it ain't too bad. You still got little bits of nice food like Biscoff and things.
Yeah, it sounds great. Or even I've seen Jack Coke on some of his recipes. It's food that you would eat out of camp anyway.
Yeah,
they make it so
there's
nice.
never really a bad recipe. Like I had meal preps for quite a while, and even the meal preps, like they're tasty meal preps. They're not bad.
It's not like just chicken, rice, broccoli.
No, exactly that. It's not plain like you think it is. But yeah, even like he sends me like a recipe book and all the different foods in it. I'd eat every single day really. I don't fuss me. I'm quite a good eater anyway. Like I don't eat rubbish even out of camp. I enjoy my food, but I go to like a nice restaurant, I have nice pizzas, even like wood fire pizzas and
what's your go-to pizza?
I like a bit of a meat one. I like the salami, like mozzarella, all that. I don't mind the ham and pineapple pizza, to be fair. Some people don't like ham and pineapple, do they?
Yeah, not me, mate. Not me.
But,
do you like spicy food?
Yeah, I like spicy food. I like Thais. I like Thai a lot. It's one of my favourite foods.
Have you been to Thailand?
No, I haven't.
No,
I want to go. Yeah, Sam's just come back. He's been out there 3 weeks.
Yeah. Has he told you about it? Or?
Yeah, he said he loved it out there. Really nice. So yeah, hopefully I'll get to go out there.
Yeah, especially if you love training. Obviously, all the gyms out there and going on how nice is it when you go on a run in the morning? You got the sun on you, like compared to in England when you're doing.
There's nothing better. Like you enjoy training when you're away because you get up in the morning, you can run along the beach. Like it's enjoyment. Like I don't mind doing it at all. I'd run further probably on holiday than I would at home because it's enjoyable. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, nice. So obviously you've got coming up your big fight. Your last fight, I was saying it off air. It was pretty clinical. I thought you put on a perfect performance, and you still said that like when you get out the ring, your dad would still tell you what you were doing wrong, and in your head you were frustrated with things that you weren't happy with.
Yeah, even when you're in there, I don't need to even watch it back. I know if I make a mistake in the ring, to be honest with you, and it bugs you, doesn't it? You think the next time I ain't gonna do that. Like
even if it's like the smallest
it's
thing.
It's tiniest little things. Even when you watch it back on telly, you don't notice it. Like it don't look like you've done anything wrong. But when you're in there, I might miss by a centimetre or a centimetre. I think, I should have been at my distance, should have been better there. So I'm very critical of myself, but it's a good thing because every time I box, I get better and better. So them little tiny adjustments, as soon as I improve them, next performance is even better. So
would you say that you've been levelling up even more since working with Jordan here?
Yeah, definitely. Even my last fight, I wasn't even with Jordan that long. It was my first camp with Jordan last time. I was only with him 6-7 weeks. And even like my, what did you say, like your rhythm, like just the explosiveness sort of thing, like not even your power, my explosiveness to like just let combinations go was so much better. And that's how I end up finishing the fight pretty much a combo of 1-2 hooks and letting it go to the body. He fell over and then I ended up caught him. Yeah, so even my explosiveness in the last camp, and now I'll be doing this camp with him and I'll be even better again. So
it must be so hard for you when you're already elite and leveling up. It must be so hard to get those 1% every camp.
That's all it is. It's literally 1%. Even it comes with nutrition. Paul O'Neill says it's just 1%. So everything's 1%. If we can get 1% better every single time, and you're only going to get better.
And obviously, a super lightweight, you're walking around not too heavy for it. Have you fought anyone yet that you think, how have they made that weight? Like, because there's some guys at 140 that are huge.
Yeah, like you got it's America. Most of it's Americans, isn't it? Well, over here, I'm pretty much one of the biggest super lightweights. But Americans, you look and you think Devin Haney puts on like ridiculous amount of weight overnight.
I don't know how he does it.
I don't know. He comes
Maybe
in like
IV drips or something.
175 pound the next day when he's made 140, 35 pound overnight.
Yeah.
It's just impossible.
You just sort of feel like, well, are IV drips allowed in boxing?
They're not allowed over here. I don't know if they're allowed abroad, but they're not allowed over here.
There's no way you can rehydrate in 24 hours like that.
And how much more must they be taking out to be able to put that much back in?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mad.
So you're in probably the best division in boxing from a fan perspective.
Yeah.
Like I'd say the top 10 at 135, 140 is just incredible.
Unbelievable, yeah. Some great fighters.
Season 5 of the Not Just Boxing Podcast is proudly sponsored by My Meal Prep. My Meal Prep have made it easy for you to stick to your diet goals as well as eating delicious, tasty, homegrown food. Make sure to use the code NJB20 to get 20% off your first order today. Is there anyone that you're sort of keen to fight before the end of your career? Is there anyone that you think stylistically you would like to take on first, or...?
Do you know what? I've never really looked at... I obviously watch all of them. I watch all of them quite closely, just for myself, if I can make any improvements or take anything they do very well to improve them. But I said, whoever's at the top, when I get there, I'm happy to fight. And there's obviously you'd like to fight Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez, but obviously I don't know if they're still going to be at that weight or even boxing when I get there in a couple of years. So... Yeah, I've never set my sets up. I want to fight him, I want to call him out and things like that. But I'm just taking my time. I'm on my own path. Mm-hmm. I want to get through the domestic division first, take through the European, and then straight into world. So
yeah, well, you've already had some good wins. Billy Allington was English champion.
Yeah.
How many fights ago was that for you?
That was only not my last fight before. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a good win. Obviously, he's not exactly a pushover, and you showed the difference in class there.
Yeah.
Quite comfortably. I think your record already, even in 12 fights, it's already really good. Most people in 12 fights, like Deontay Wilder, they're still beating guys that have had 150 losses on their record.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
30 fights in.
I think now it's a little bit different. Like years ago, I think they could get away with having a few more journeymen and things like that. I think now you've got to push. Everyone's pushing a little bit quicker. Everyone's taking them step ups a little bit earlier. And yeah, I don't want to be boxing like nobody's for ages. I want to be in there with the best of it now. Like
especially in the amateurs when you're against the best, and then all of a sudden you're faced with a journeyman in your pro fight that's not throwing back.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you go from that being like, that's what I said, you're going from the European level as an amateur, which are unbelievable fighters, to going back to a journeyman. But even though they will still learn you tricks in there, like they're so experienced because and they'll rough you up a little bit, which you've never had as an amateur because you've always had the ref jumping in and breaking you up a little bit, whereas they punch you in the back of the head and things like that. So, yeah.
Have you learnt those little tricks in the gym?
Yeah, I
think there must be so many things in the pro game that the casual eye can't see.
Yeah, so many things in the program that the ref will probably let go, whereas an amateur they just jump in and break you up straight away. You know what I mean? So. You have to learn all them little things because especially when you're 12 round fights, 10, 12 round fights, and you got to dig it out, and you need them things. So, yes.
And who's your main sparring partners? Do you get people come in, or do you just spar the boys at iBox?
Me and Sam Noakes do a lot of the sparring together. Obviously, my last fight suited Sam like that. It suited him and it suited me, so it was perfect for both of us. But yeah, if we need to go out, we'll go out sparring. I sparred Ara Davis and things like that. I go over to Adam Booth's gym sparring over there. So
nice.
Yeah, wherever.
Harlem?
Yeah, I've sparred Harlem. I've sparred Khalid Ali over there. I've sparred over there. Alfie Winter, just a few of the boys. Whoever's over there really that they've got, I'll go over there and spar. I've sparred even like as an amateur. I sparred Connor Bent like when he was a pro and I was only an amateur. That was before I think. Just after the Europeans, I went over there and sparred him. So
how was those experiences when you were amateur and you started getting called to pro gyms?
Yeah, well, like the Luke Campbell fight versus Organ Norris, I was sparring Organ Norris for that fight, and I was only a kid, 16. Like
you were sparring Organ Norris
for Luke Campbell, 16 years old,
Wow.
Over at David A's gym. And I'd like to see the footage back, to be honest. I know they was filming it. And I said, I'd love to get hold of the footage one day just to see what it was like. I know, I thought I'd done very well in there. And I caught him I remember catching him with a check hook and spinning him into the ropes. And I just see him, he turned around and his face and he grunted and he just ran at me. I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh my, he's one of my favourite fighters.
Yeah, it's a great fighter, especially when he's prime, a very good fighter. Yeah. Fighter I looked up to as well. So yeah, it was a great experience, even just sparring.
Yeah. How was that, having a fighter that you've looked up to, you've seen on the telly, someone that as a fan you've liked, and then you're sharing the ring with them? Yeah,
it's a great experience. Like, it's a money can't buy experience, isn't it? Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like, to even say you've done it and been there and sparred him, unbelievable. Like, he's at the end of his career now. I'd never get to share the ring with him as a boxer, but I sparred him when he was probably in his prime, when he beat Luke Campbell and things like that. So
yeah, that was a good fight. And even when he dropped Lomachenko.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's the only fighter ever to drop Lomachenko.
Yeah, he's great.
And Loma's had over 400 fights.
They're very strong. I remember he hit me with a backhand and he took my head off from my shoulders. As a kid, I was like, whoa.
Thank God it was sparring. And I'm guessing he had 16 ounces?
Yeah, he was sparring 14, 16s at the time. Yeah, because I remember they give me a big old pair of gloves. So obviously I used to spar as an amateur. You probably sparring 10s and 12s, didn't you? They made me put a pair of big grants. I was like, fucking hell, yeah, it's the size of these.
How many rounds did you do with Linares?
I was doing the first 4 because he had to do obviously 10 rounds. I'd done the first 4, and then they had other people like Joe Cordina was up there, Alfie Price.
Okay.
Yeah, he was sparring him. So yeah, there was all like, so I would get in and do the first lot, and then they'd jump in and do them rounds. So, but even 4 rounds when you're an amateur, it was hard work.
Yeah. Have you sparred Joe Cordina?
No, I haven't sparred Joe Cordina. No. Another good fighter.
Very good.
Yeah.
I think his last fight, it looked like... did you see his last fight?
Yeah, I just think he needs to move up weight.
Yeah.
He's got up to lightweight. I think he struggled a little bit of weight. It would have affected his performance a little bit. Yeah, I think at lightweight, he'd probably be back to his best again.
Yeah, definitely. And as well, I don't know if he maybe boxed the wrong fight as well, because he's so slick.
He stood there a little bit, didn't he? But like you say, it's hot out there. It was hot out there. You don't know how well he made the weight. He might have not even had the energy to move his feet out good. Maybe he probably had to make a decision in there to try and stay there and have a fight with him.
How have you found climatising when you've boxed, let's say in Dubai, for example, when it's really hot, you might be fighting
Dubai
a bit later?
Obviously it was hot, but it was in an arena, it was cold. The hottest place I ever boxed was the Europeans as a junior. It was 50 odd degrees.
Oh my God.
In Hungary, and it was like a tin roof. So it was hot in there. And after the first fight, I remember spinning off with a check hook, and my legs had no energy in them. It was the third round. I just fell over. I was thinking, fucking hell, it's hot out here. My dad went out the next day and he brought spray bottles and wet towels just to get in, because England would give you dry towels in the corner, and you got all the Russians, they got all wet towels and I'm keeping them cool. Yeah. And we had dry towels and no water bottles hardly. So my dad went out and made them give us dry towels and water. And lucky enough he did, because it was so hot.
Yeah. Well, that could be the difference as well between winning and losing a fight.
Yeah, because it takes it out of you. Yeah, when you come back and get that little bit of cool, it just refreshes you a little bit.
People don't realise in boxing, even if you had a loss or a bad round or whatever, people have bad days every day in the office, and for you to be at your peak and to constantly perform at your best, it's one of the most demanding jobs out there.
Yeah, exactly. Like every fight night, you've got to turn up, haven't you? That's that. And sometimes you don't, but so far, I've been lucky enough so far, every single fight I've put on a good performance, and hopefully it carries on like that.
Definitely. So just to finish up, have you got any advice to anyone listening, or is there anything that you would say to your younger self, just in terms of discipline and fighting and
I just think
your view on life?
Yeah, I think you just got to stay disciplined, you've got to train hard. You can't go out and have them party nights and things like that. You've got to kind of put that aside and just focus on yourself. And if I could go back and tell myself anything as a kid, it'd be my nutrition. Make sure you drink all that, drink a lot of water. Make sure your nutrition's that little bit better, because it helps when you're in the ring. Even as an amateur, it helps. If my nutrition was like it was now, I'd probably have been an even better amateur. I might not even lost. I might have had 60-0. But if I could go back and probably to make sure your nutrition's right. Like I said, I was very dedicated as a kid. I never went out, and I missed so many events. All my friends would go to Ascot races and they'd be going to parties and things like that. I couldn't go nowhere. And it's still the same now. I still miss out on a lot, but it's worth it.
Have you missed any big family occasions as well? Birthdays, Christmases?
Even my sister's wedding. Obviously, I went to the wedding, but every morning I had to get up and be in the gym for 2 hours, 3 hours, and go running in the morning because I was fighting not long after I got back. So yeah, you got to be very dedicated. Like you can't slip off, and you can't take your mind off the job.
Well, it definitely shows because you are a talent.
It's worth it at the end of the day. Isn't it?
And have you also noticed that talent? You also need the hard work.
Yeah, talent only gets you so far. That's that. There's some very talented kids that don't work hard enough. Like I've known even through the amateur, I've known some very talented kids that just didn't have. They just didn't want to work that bit harder. And if they did, they'd have been unbelievable. There's
a lot of people that say sometimes it's actually bad if you're talented because you do take the easier route and you do pick up the bad habits.
And do you know what? I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't know.
A lot of people say, I'm talented and like you've naturally got it. But if you had seen me as a kid, I wasn't talented when I first started. You know what I mean? I was just a straightforward, just come forward, throwing loads of shots. It took all them years to be able to get where I'm at now. Like you say, not going out, training every single day to get where I am now. So it ain't talent, you know what I mean? I've worked at that since a kid.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on, Henry.
You too.
And,
thank you very much.
I'll catch up with you soon, mate.
Thank you.